Okay, happy Friday, beautiful NFL fans. We have Mr. Jim Wyatt, beat writer for the Tennessee Titans, been covering since 1999. Jim, tell all the fans that, this brand new 2024-2025 season, who you are and what you bring to the table.
Okay, my name is Jim Wyatt. Yeah, I've covered the Titans, as you mentioned, since 1999. I started off covering the team for the Tennessean, which is the paper of record in Nashville, Tennessee. Worked for the Tennessean from 99 to 2000 through the 2014 season. Covered, during that stretch when the team first moved to Nashville, covered, 4 playoff appearances in 5 years, Super Bowl, a couple AFC championship games. Team took a downward turn, made a little bit of a comeback in the late 2000. Went to the playoffs with Vince Young 1 year in 2007, 2008. Number 1 seed, lost in the first round of the playoffs to the Ravens. Seen some good times, seen some bad times. Joined the team in 2015, and this is going into my 10th season working for the team. So it's a different job working for the team, but been around from the Steve McNair, Eddie George days all the way up now to the Will Levis, and a completely different Titans team this year than the one that you guys saw up there in the preseason last year and the one I covered last year. New coaching staff, new everything.
Yeah, I've been watching Tennessee because I actually went to school with Steve McNair. So, we had a great relationship up until his demise. And I've watched the development and growth, and I see they've now, Rand Carthon, he's doing a phenomenal job as the GM with some of the acquisitions, the development of Will Levis. I think they brought in Tony Pollard this year at running back.
They did. They got Tony Pollard. Yep. Pair him with Tajay Spears as kind of the 1-2 punch to replace Derrick Henry.
Okay. Well, look, he's gonna have some huge shoes to fill replacing Sir Henry, but I think he can roll. I think he can roll the dice and get some of that stellar production back. But I'm more intrigued, Jim, about that wide receiver core of Calvin Ridley, D Hop. And what's Burke's first name?
Yeah, Traylon. Yeah, it's Lon, but he pronounces it Traylon. So Traylon Burks is a good receiving core. It's probably the best since I've been here as far as potential. As you mentioned, you got Hopkins, you got Ridley, you got Tyler Boyd, you got Traylon Burks as your 4, Nick Westbrook-Akina, and Jaquan Jackson round out the 6. And those guys are versatile, can play a lot of different spots, got some speed in the lineup with Ridley, and really taking some pressure off of the quarterback. So it's a new look team. You mentioned filling Derrick Henry's shoes. I think the offense is so different now. It's not just going to be a pound the football type of offense like they've had around here since Eddie George days. We'll see how that goes. A lot depends on Levis and how he's able to master this offense with these two guys around him.
Have you had a chance, Jim, to take a look at the Bears defense? Because the secondary, I believe, is probably one of the top units in the NFL. What you think?
Oh, it's definitely an impressive defense. The way they finished last year was very impressive. Up front, posed a lot of challenges to an offensive line in Tennessee that's been completely rebuilt. Mm-hmm. I'm with you on the secondary. I think it's a talented secondary. I'm very familiar with Kevin Byard on the back end there. Covered him during his days with the Titans. Great guy. Been a great player in the National Football League for a long time. And I know the Bears are going to be a tough opponent right out of the gate just because, that's a stout group up front, and those guys can make some plays on the back end. And be curious just to see how they defend Levis and the new look Titans offense.
Yeah, that's what we're curious to see as well, because like you said, the defense finishing top 2, top 3 in the last 6-7 games last year. And when you look at the ball hawks on the back 7, not to throw in TJ Edwards and Tremaine Edmonds, I want to see what type of chess game they're going to be playing with Will in his second year, because I think Will played pretty good last year, coming out of Kentucky. But I want to see in year 2 how he's going to adjust and how the opposing defense is going to adjust to him.
Yeah, and he's doing it now with a brand new staff and new ideas and a new offense, and they've adjusted his technique and even his throwing motion a little bit. I think the main thing they've stressed to him is just, distribute the ball to your playmakers. Don't feel like you got to be a hero. And and I think he's more mature now. I think he understands the expectations for him. It's not going to be perfect as he works with Brian Callahan and Nick Holtz, the offensive coordinator. But I think in time, he's going to settle in, and I think it'll be really good for this team. But you just never know in week ones. I mean, I've seen a lot of week one games that are crazy, and I think time will tell us just what this Titans team is going to be all about. And I think the same for the Bears, because I know a lot of new there on the offensive side, especially a quarterback.
Well, see, you just transition our next segment, next topic, because I'm so happy we got Caleb. Generational talent, but now it's time to transcend that talent, at the next level. So, what are some of the things? Because when I'm looking at this Titan defense, Jim, like there's some pretty good players on that side of the ball for the Titans. When you're looking at Jeffrey Simmons and Devondre Sweat, and then the secondary for the Titans is pretty strong too. And they just added, I think, Will Jones from the Rams, a Will linebacker. So when you look at the chess game for the Titan defense versus the Bears offense, what are some things that you're keying in on? Because we're looking at our three wide receivers, Rome, DJ, Keenan Allen, but then we got some good tight ends as well, and Jared Everett, Cole Kmet, and then you throw in DeAndre Swift and Khalil Herbert. What are some of the key things that you're looking at defensively in order for the Titans to compete at a high level in this game?
Well, I think a lot of curiosity here just how they're going to treat Caleb Williams and how aggressive this defense is going to be. Denard Wilson, in his first year as defensive coordinator, has a reputation for being an aggressive guy, and I really like what I've seen from him just on the practice field, in preseason games, just his mindset and just the way he relates to players. I think these guys are all in on Denard Wilson and what he is going to bring to this defense, but there's just a lot of uncertainty about what that's going to look like in week one because of all the new faces. You mentioned Devondre Sweat and you mentioned Ernest Jones as one of the newcomers, but man, it's across the board. L'Jarius Sneed, Jadobe Awuzie, Quandre Diggs, all on the back end. All those guys are new. Jamal Adams is new. He's on the injury report. Hasn't practiced this week. I don't think he'll play. But then Kenneth Murray at inside backer is brand new. Sebastian Joseph Day up front is new. So many guys that are just learning this system and learning to play together for the first time. And so we'll see how this all comes together. There's some talent there. The other question for me is just how does Denard Wilson treat a rookie quarterback? I mean, I've been around long enough to face the Titans, to watch the Titans face a lot of rookies over the years. I've seen them come after the guy, blitz him, throw the kitchen sink at him, and then I've seen other defenses kind of sit back in a zone, try to confuse them. I think you'll see a combination of those two things on Sunday, but just to what effect and what kind of effect they can have on Caleb, that's one of the big question marks for me. Caleb's very talented. They keep showing this throw he made, I guess it was one of the preseason games where he kind of does a little spin move and just kind of flicks the ball downfield. I think he hit a doomsday on that play. I've seen that play over and over again on NFL Network this week, kind of leading up to this game. It just shows you what he's capable of doing, why he was picked first, and why he's regarded as kind of a can't-miss NFL prospect. So looking forward to seeing him play. He's a really good player, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how the Titans try to defend him.
Hey, that play you talking about, Jim, was against the Bengals when he rolled out and inflicted about 40 yards down the field of Rome. And when you see that type of off-platform stuff, as a defensive coordinator, it has to keep you up at night.
Oh, yeah, and that's one of the things that Denard Wilson was talking about yesterday is just his ability to make all the throws, but then athletic enough to create extra time for himself and to escape the pocket. And it makes it tougher on the guys trying to get to him in the backfield. It makes it tougher for the guys trying to cover. And so we'll see how some of that looks on Sunday.
What you think about that new special team rule, Jim? Do you think it's going to have a significant impact this year?
Well, I think it's going to take some getting used to. I don't know. I mean, I saw the first part of the preseason where really it didn't change much as far as starting field position went. But then the Titans in their first preseason game, they had a guy, bust one for a pretty big game. It's different. I mean, I think that's turned into such a nothing play over the years. Guys remember what it was like when that play was exciting with Devin Hester. And,
Absolutely.
That just doesn't happen much anymore. Dante Hall, I mean, with the Chiefs, I remember guys like that who used to make, turn that play into a can't miss play. And lately it's just been a touchback, one touchback after the next, and a pretty good time to go get you a cold drink at the kickoff. So now I think it becomes intriguing again, and we'll just see what it means on Sundays this fall.
So Jim, one of the questions a couple of our community members were having is, since we don't get a lot of coverage of Tennessee Titans fans and media, what is the perception of the matchup for this week, coming in from both the media and the fans from what you've seen?
Well, I think people are excited here just about the season starting. I know Titans a 4-point dog. Bears seem to be a popular pick here. Bears seem to be a little bit of a media darling going into the season because of their acquisitions and because of their quarterback. And I think in a lot of ways the Titans fans feel like they're kind of forgotten and overlooked, but they're used to that around here. That's just kind of the way it goes when you have a small market team, and that's kind of the way it goes when you don't have success. People express some frustration around here about why the team is picked to finish last in the division, and why some people have them predicted to finish at 4-13 or 5-12. And while I think this team's better than that, I also think that when you finish 7-10 and 6-11 in back-to-back years, and you win 18, and you lose 18-24, and you fire your head coach, then you got to earn the respect back, and you can't expect for people to think you're going to be good when you've lost that many games and over that streak of time. So this Titans team's got a lot to prove, and I do think the fan base is re-energized. Everybody hated to see Derrick Henry go, but I think the way this team was put together and some of the acquisitions that were made, and the way Brian Callahan, the head coach, has carried himself, I think the fan base is re-energized. And I think that's going to be the case no matter what happens in week one. The Titans have a tough start to the season. This game in Chicago, then they come home and face the Jets and the Packers, and they go on the road and face Miami. It's a rough start on the schedule. And, this team could be a lot better even if the record doesn't show it. But this is a game the Titans need to find a way to win and not start out in a hole. And I think people are cautiously optimistic here, but I know the folks in Chicago feel the same way. They probably feel like they got a pretty good matchup with the 6-11 team from a year ago coming in.
Yeah, and I know we talked about the offense and the defense and whatnot, but one thing we talked about a lot here in Chicago last year was offensive line play, and the lack thereof, certainly. But I know the Titans have J.C. Latham, a rookie tackle, as well as a right tackle who only played 3 games last year.
That's right.
Yeah, due to suspension injury. Do you have any concerns with the offensive line protecting Will Levis, or not at all?
Well, I mean, I'm not going to say not at all, but especially based on what I've seen around here the last couple of years, where Ryan Tannehill just really got the heck beat out of him, and Levis came in and was injured really in large part because of the pressure he faced and the hits that he took. It's a completely rebuilt offensive line. You mentioned Latham, a right tackle in college at Bama who's now playing left tackle. I think he's adjusted well. He's a great athlete. He puts the work in. I really like him. But you just can't snap your finger and think it's going to be perfect on the left side, especially going into a game against the Bears where they're going to pressure you there. So he's new. Peter Skoronski, guy who grew up in Chicago, played at Northwestern. He's back at left guard. I think he'll settle in and be even better this year. He was a first-round pick last year. Lloyd Cushenberry, the starting center, came over from Denver, one of the team captains. Right guard Dylan Radins, kind of won that job in camp. And Nicholas Petit-Frere, the right tackle, played a lot as a rookie. But, last year it was an injury-shortened, suspension-shortened season. and he's kind of just getting back into the groove of playing. So that's a new look line, and they're going to have to gel, and they're going to have to get on the same page quickly. I tell you, one of the reasons why I have confidence in that group long term is because of the offensive line coach. Bill Callahan came over from the Browns. I've been around Mike Munchak before from his days coaching offensive line here and his days as a head coach. And I tell you what, Bill Callahan is kind of that same ilk. I mean, the way he coaches and the way he preaches technique and accountability, he's going to get that group playing at a high level because he doesn't tolerate anything less. And again, it may not be perfect at the start, but I think in time this group will get better. But week one, again, there's so many unknowns with week one. You don't know what the opponent's doing. You just don't know how things are going to go on your end from a communication standpoint. I'm certainly not going to sit here and tell you I don't have any concerns about that, because that was really my biggest concern heading into the offseason is the offensive line. And while they did some things to fix it, it's still a work in progress. And we'll kind of see first time out how it looks this year.
Well, Jim, we got one last question. We're going to let you get up out of here. When you look at the head coaches, Matt Eberflus versus, is it Bill Callahan, or because Brian is the father, right?
Yeah, I just mentioned Bill and Brian, but that's certainly takes some getting used to having the Callahan crew here. But Brian's the head coach, and Bill is a longtime offensive line coach, former head coach with the Raiders and at Nebraska.
Okay.
Interesting combo there.
So when you look at the chess game between those two, like I said, we've had Matt for 3 years now, and I know y'all just got Mr. Callahan here for his first year. What are some of the things you expect? Because we know what we're getting out of Matt on the defensive side, as far as pressure, different pressure packages and things like that. What are you all expecting out of Mr. Callahan in his first year at the hand?
Well, I think an even keel, very measured head coach is what we're expecting, and the guy who's going to give a new look to what this team does offensively. Certainly, he's going to be calling plays for the first time in an NFL game on Sunday. He was offensive coordinator for the Bengals, but Zach Taylor was the guy who was calling the shots there, and so now it's Brian Callahan's show. I think he'll let Denard Wilson, who I talked about earlier, kind of do his thing on defense. And I think, Brian will be running things on offense. And what to expect, I mean, I guess, again, it's one of these week one unknown type deals. Just how aggressive will he be? I think the Titans are less predictable now without 22 in the backfield. And then you're going to see a split of Pollard and Spears. But how they choose to attack when those guys are in the game and how they choose to utilize these receivers, that's kind of the fun going in the season, is really know what they're going to do. I know a lot of that hinges on the ability to protect. And if the Titans can't protect, then that's going to make things difficult for everybody. So it all starts up front that we just talked about. And I think Brian Callahan is looking forward to doing this for the first time, not only as a play caller, but as a head coach, and really just kind of seeing what all this work that's been done around here, what it's going to look like. Just pulled up. I don't know if you can see the Titans logo back there. I just pulled up to the facility there. So that's where I am now, just pulled into the Titans parking lot. There's a practice bubble. And
okay, I see you, Jim.
So people are fired up to get going. I know people in Chicago fired up for the start of another season too. Just got a little taste of it last night with the Thursday night game, and things are different now when the regular season starts.
Yes, it is. Jim, it's been a pleasure, my friend. Like I said, safe travels to Chicago, and looking forward to meeting you when you get on ground.
Okay, you guys have a good weekend. Appreciate you guys having me on, and good luck to you this season.
Thank you, Jim.